Recently I did a video about science, what we have, vis-a-vis science, what maybe some of our competitors play around in. And I've had a few people give me some feedback on that, saying, well, what do you mean by that? And without using names, let me give you two specific examples of three actually, of exactly what I mean by that. I know of, and I'm reasonably well connected in our industry at all sorts of different levels, there's a company out there, a well-known company, that funds an institute that happens to have a very different name than Company X, and they do the research on their products. And what do you know? All of the research they do at this institute demonstrate that Company X's products are wonderfully magnificent. Now, let's be honest. Of course, an institute funded solely by Company X is going to say nothing other than, or won't be allowed to, or will be edited out saying anything other than, Company X's products are wonderful. So this circular reference where I fund you, you say good things about me, so I can use those good things said about me to sell someone else more product, is a game that gets played often. And I can think of one company in particular that does a very good job of that, even though it's a poor exercise, and a couple of others that get close to that. Second example, I know of another company that actually has zero R&D department. But if you go to their website, you will see a whole bunch of folks in white coats looking very laboratory and scientific and PhD. The reality is they were all students that were hired for the day, put white coats on in a studio and said, be our R&D department for the purposes of this promotional shot, video, and website presence. Smoke and mirrors, science, not science. The last one was a particular project I was engaged in where I was assisting a private equity group to buy a network marketing company. They engaged me as their consultant to help with the due diligence. Interestingly enough, this company didn't have me sign an NDA, but I nevertheless, notwithstanding a non-signed agreement or no agreement to sign, I'm respecting their privacy. But the fact of the matter was this: in their number one market, their number one product was technically illegal. What was in the bottle, in the product, bore zero resemblance to what was actually on the label and the way it had been approved for sale in that particular market. I remember sitting on a conference call with these group of investors where this particular fact was discovered, that the number one product in the number one market wasn't what was represented. In fact, had some illegal ingredients in it. And I remember the lead person on that conference call saying this quote, and it embarrasses me that he had to say it, not me. He said, gentlemen, they were all guys, so I apologize for appearing sexist. He said, gentlemen, if ever we have to start a conversation with, quote, if the authorities found out, end quote, that's not a conversation we should be engaging in and not an investment we should be considering. That company has since had some significant challenges because the authorities did find out. Their number one market is no longer their number one market. Their number one product in the number one market is no longer legal for sale, and all of the black eyes that flow from that. Now, I'm not suggesting everyone are a bunch of cowboys and everyone are scoundrels and all the rest of this sort of stuff. But on an industry that's very easy to enter, or apparently very easy to enter, that doesn't quite have the rigor sometimes required in other industries, sometimes you can get some folks that are, shall we say, slightly less disciplined, or slightly less ethical, or have slightly less integrity than they should. Be aware of that. Look for that. Now, to end on a positive, the great thing with Unicity is we have real science. Real PhDs that do real science, that understand the implications of what they're asking us to put in our mouths and actually digest. Real science generates real products which create real solutions for real people with real needs, from which flows a real business. Rest assured, we aren't science, we are science. Rest assured that many of our competitors play games. Not our job to point that out, but our job to assume the posture of, we have what the marketplace needs, we have it substantially, all we've got to do is make the people aware that we have what they need, and do it in a way that is invitational, relationship sustaining, and based in real science.